Yo. Turn that off. Alright, nice. I have rechat working. Alright. Coping without Elden Ring by playing all the Souls games. You're on 2. 2 is a banger. Also, what do you mean you're coping without Elden Ring? You can't play it? Also, what up, Tooth? Right. So, I was just testing some stuff previously. So, today we are going to be doing, a tier list of the Remembrance bosses. If you don't have it, you pirated it once, though. Fair enough. That's a shame. You gotta get it. Alright. Let's see here. So, this is what we'll be working on today. Our, tier list. We're just gonna be doing Remembrance bosses, and then a couple other bosses that I thought it'd be interesting to comment on. Furnace Golem and Golden Hippo. We're going to go through and be fighting the bosses again, each of them. I set up this save so that I can just go ahead and fight them as I wish without any worries. I spawned in all the fragments that I need, all that good stuff. So we're just going to be messing around with the bosses and ranking them as we see fit. And hopefully it all goes well. Also, all of this is being recorded and will be put into a YouTube video, so feel free to say hello, YouTube. Alright, let's go back to the game. Gotta save for the $110 version of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Not familiar. There's been so many Dragon Ball games. Right. We're just gonna go with like a basic, Hi, losers. I mean YouTube. We're just gonna go with like a basic dexterity build, I guess. It's funny, I get like 5 extra levels or 4 extra levels because this character started Samurai over the Wretch, which I was usually using to play through the DLC. Alright, that's fine. Alright. Also, for the sake of the, video, we'll be mostly using just, vanilla stuff. Gee, that dent. What dent? This guy's dent? Well, sometimes it can't be helped. Actually, I'm gonna go pick up the Great Katana, which is one thing I forgot to do. Also, I picked the wrong side of Grace. Great Katana is so funny. It's a lot of fun to use. You love reference. What does that mean? I love reference. So this should be it right here. Yep. It also has that really cool Ash of War on it too. Its moveset is a reference. Huh. Do you mean like the how it has like the Sekiro style moveset? To Monster Hunter Longsword? Ah. Like it's the same. Yeah, but I suppose how many ways could you even swing in Odachi? I mean, it's the same in Sekiro as well, the enemies that wield Odachis. I definitely see the comparison though. I think the dragon one, the anti-dragon Great Katana, is very reminiscent of it. Like it looks like a Monster Hunter greatsword. Lightning slash. And then let's go with I don't know, I guess this one doesn't really matter. Shard of Alexander and Claw, I guess? Sure. Alright. So I already have an idea of what I would do as like a gut reaction for the tier list, but I'm not confident that my first playthrough was a good enough experience with all of the Remembrance bosses. So we're gonna start out with stage front. We're gonna fight Dancing Lion. And really quick. Let's go back to monitor 1. And so in my head, Divine Beast, Dancing Lion. It was a tough pick because originally when I first fought it, I was pretty underwhelmed. I like aspects of it, but there's also things I don't like about it. In terms of boss design, I like the head, but the remainder of it, not a big fan. I don't like that it's like covered in cloth and it's just two dudes in a suit or whatever. And it's kind of annoying to understand what the boss is doing. But the music for Lion is very good, which definitely helps it out. It's one of the easily like top 2. I would say next to maybe Promise Consort. But just for a safe middle ground right now, I think we're going to put Divine Beast, Dancing Lion in B tier. Obviously the tiers are self-explanatory. I might even knock off the S tier just because there's only 11 remembrances. But we'll see as time goes on. So right now, I would put Divine Beast Dancing Line in B tier. But we're going to fight him again with some fragments, some blessings, to try to figure out what we think of the boss now. All right, back to the game. Brent did a rune level 1 run. It took him more than 6 hours, apparently. It's a lion, not the game. Oh, I mean, I don't doubt it. The Dancing Lion fight's not particularly easy, and it's takes a lot of practice learning the moveset that it has. Especially on rune level 1 where everything's gonna one-shot you. So I think what we're gonna do is I really like Crimson Spill, or no, Crimson Burst. And we'll do Light Roll. Just because why not? And this looks good. I don't know if lightning's going to be a good idea for this fight, though. I also don't remember this cutscene. We'll watch the cutscene, too.
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower's sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise.
Yo, what up, Zach? Welcome.
Cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower.
Oh yeah, another one of the issues that I had with this boss fight was the performance issues during certain attacks. I think I'm at Blessing level 5. Am I going to be fighting all the bosses then ranking them? Yeah, so, I mean, mostly. Well, yeah, we're going to be fighting them, but I do like a little bit of a pre-ranking just based off memory. And then we're going to be moving on to fighting them, see my thoughts on them afterwards. Originally, so right now I have this boss in B tier. Oh, yeah, see, look, frame rate lost right there already. Alright, I gotta remember how to fight this boss. Also, might need to adjust the audio. Never mind, it's fine. I mean, from the front, the boss looks cool. Oh, I think I got grabbed. The music's fantastic. Oh. Why did the boss just heal? I've never seen this boss heal before. Right, it has the spin into the other stuff. Yeah, those quake attacks kill my frame rate. I gotta do more jump attacks. We'll probably get lots of staggers in this fight. Yep, there's one. It changes the element of its damage. Yeah, it's really cool. Alright, here we go. This is the lightning one. Right, he throws lightning. And shoots lightning. I wonder if this changes his absorption. Oh yeah, I didn't like the RNG lightning on the ground. I do remember that. Obviously, I'm not going to first try this boss right here. Frost, yep. Alright. Spun 3 times. I'm still thinking about that heal that I did early on. I think I have the unpopular opinion with this boss fight. I think a lot of people really enjoyed it. I think that I liked it more than my least favorite fights in this DLC, obviously. But I don't know. Even after playing it again, like, the music just isn't enough for me to really enjoy this fight. And not just because I'm getting my ass beat. I have not dodged like a single one of his attacks. The thing is, like, those frame killing AoEs would be more frustrating if they weren't even the worst offenders of that in this DLC, which they're not even remotely close. After a bite or a grab attack, you get a debuff that says when you heal, he heals. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Thing is, like, I'm sure this... Oh, you can jump that? I'm sure this boss can be bullied pretty hard. That's cool, though. I like that. That's a net positive for this fight. That there's, like, more penalty to getting grabbed than just losing health. What am I stuck on? I like this attack. I think it's really cool. Oh, right. And then that last bit goes through him. Frost. All 3 of the forms are pretty scary. I think this one, on my first playthrough, gave me the most trouble. I can't see. He cornered me. Well, this is awkward. I am pinned. Oh, that might be death. If I get frostbitten, I'm definitely dead. I thought he did another AoE there. See, the thing is, like, I feel like B isn't a bad spot for this boss. Oh, uh-oh. No, he's gonna heal now. Let's see how much he heals. Oh, not much. That's really not that bad at all. Yeah. That's bad. I mean, the boss really is sick. I don't know. I feel like B might be a bit low. The the only reason that I would even put it any higher than B, though, is because of the elemental swaps. I think that's so cool. This one's gonna be a close one. Well, maybe not anymore. Oh, is that death? Man, I always gotta dodge early. My problem with this fight is I always dodge too late. Rip indeed. Maybe I'll take that off. I really don't need the shard. Having more stam regen would have helped me there. Not having fought most of these bosses for like the past week, it's definitely gonna be apparent. I mean, it's a super punishable boss. Also, I have 3 unnecessary blue blasts. Yeah, being able to jump that attack is so cool. Should be one more to a stagger now. Nope. There we go. And I'm bad. Really good RNG so far. And the thing is, like, if you struggle a lot on some of the phases, you can kind of just avoid them. Like, if you really don't like the frostbite one, you only have to worry about it in phase 3. Or, I guess it's technically phase 2. When the boss just uses everything. This one's pretty rough too. Only because of like certain attacks now have an AoE on them. The music's so good. Can never be happy about RNG lightning. But that's just one facet of this boss. And that's that. See, I mean, I did so good on this attempt compared to the previous ones. What does he drop? Oh yeah, Divine Beast Head. I mean, it's a solid fight. I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. I mean, there's only 11 remembrances, and I can already think ahead of some of them that I know I'm going to put lower on the list. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and move Divine Beast Dancing Lion to A tier. We're also going to be fighting them in order to... Well, maybe not. I was going to say in order of how I fought them my first playthrough, but... That's going to be difficult with how they're intended to be fought. Because Bale's a pretty late game one. Like, you should have a higher blessing level. So I would say, like, Bale maybe before Promised Consort. I'm okay with this order. Maybe Midra after Ramana. Ramana is really not that difficult. I'm okay with this. So let's go to a Ralana next. This one's going to be rough because I'm pretty sure I barely beat her in my first playthrough. Where are we going? Was it checkpoint? Castle Lord's Chamber, I think. Just gonna remove that, and, oh yeah, I forgot to use my flask mixture, too. I should probably throw that on. Alright. Ooh, I also want to grab a shield. Wait, that puts me in heavy load. Guess I'll go with that. The other thing is, I'm a huge sucker for bosses who can parry, so they're probably going to be a bit higher on the list, especially if you can incorporate it into the boss fight. But being able to cheese a boss with parry is another story. I feel like that kind of takes away. Oh, wait. Let's swap our flasks. We want more reds. I'm just gonna stay at blessing level. Oh, I was at blessing level 3. We'll stay at 3 for this fight, and then probably level up for the next boss. No opening scene for Ralana. My first impressions of Ralana on my last playthrough was very positive. I really enjoyed this boss. Nice little side strike there, and she just whiffed. The kicker of this fight is going to be phase 2 once we get there. Ooh, I don't remember that attack. This one's does a shit ton of damage. I feel like light roll makes a huge difference in these fights too. I don't believe I parried her on my first attempt, or my first playthrough. Her attacks do come out really fast, but they don't hit particularly hard. She does have that, though, which chips you down pretty bad. Got a stagger. I feel like just in general, Ralana's not super difficult. Her phase 2 is definitely a lot harder. And I feel like light roll probably makes it a bit easier. Oh yeah, now she starts hitting really hard. Yeah, and she kind of stays on your ass too. I mean, it's a cool fight. It reminds me a lot of, it was super early, of, Pontiff Sullivan from Dark Souls 3. My light roll ran out. She is a very, very fast boss. No, she's only 2 parries to get their post. I mean, I beat her by the skin of my teeth and got lucky. I almost want more time to... I think that was too late. I almost want more time to mess around with her to come to a decision. Also, I don't think I placed her before. Personally, I think Rolana's a really good fight. I just... I don't know. Yeah, we killed her. I think that... she's also a contender for A tier, probably higher than Dancing Lion for me. I mean, I'm reserving S tier for the bosses that I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed in this DLC. And Rolana was up there, but she wasn't quite there yet. So I think that she is as close as you can get to... well, that's a tough say, actually. She's definitely not S tier, but I don't think that she's lower than Dancing Lion. So we'll leave Rolana at A for now. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind about some of these placements later, and then we'll shift them around. But for the time being, we'll just leave it at that. Both in A tier. And then we move on to, what was our next boss again? It was Putrescent Knight. Okay. Yeah, that should be easy. Right. I'm also going to replace Putrescent Knight and my thoughts on him. Which one was it? Was it Fissure Cross? No. It wasn't Garden. I think it was Fissure Depths. So, initially, Putrescent Knight was pretty solid for me. I would say it was, another decent fight. It took me a little bit to beat him. I think that the average player... oh, yeah, we're also going to raise our blessing by 2. Because, I mean, at this point, you'll have explored all of Cerulean Coast. So that's like, what? 10 fragments up to this point? Which should be pretty easy. Right, so... Putrescent Knight... I don't know. Initially, I would have said Putrescent Knight was better than Divine Beast Dancing Lion. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to lower Dancing Lion and put Putrescent Knight in A tier. I think that's going to be a hot take. I think that the average person probably would swap these two. Maybe even put Putrescent Knight lower, because I think a lot of people just didn't like this boss. At least from what I saw. But that's not going to change my thoughts on it. So we're going to go ahead and fight Putrescent Knight now. And decide for ourselves. One of the issues that this boss suffers from is definitely, at least with a few particular attacks, they're just kind of long-winded and overstay their welcome and leave not much room to punish the boss. And we're seeing it to start with. Alright, well, I mean, I whiffed there. Let's go ahead and drink our flask. I mean, in terms of mounted fights, I think that this is definitely the better of the two. This boss kind of gave me a beatdown before. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the soundtrack. So I like Rolana's a lot. Rolana's soundtrack is really good, but this one I feel was the most forgettable in the DLC. Besides maybe Commander Gaius, but that's because Commander Gaius literally didn't even have a unique track. Wow, that damage. I think this boss took me a few hours on my first playthrough. Maybe not a few. At least 1 hour. Right, phase 2 is where things get a little bit goofy. Oh, jumped early there. I feel like I could probably get a punish there. Oh, right, that's what that is. I do like the phase 2 in this. I'm surprised it didn't hit me. I think it adds another layer of depth to it that this fight definitely needed. Very reminiscent of Manus. At least with some of the fire attacks. Oh, that one's super delayed. I mean, overall, we're not just going to be ranking bosses like off difficulty. It's going to be the whole thing. Oh. And I would say, I don't know, maybe I remembered this boss too fondly. Oh, we live in. There we go. That's the surrounding fire. Oh, gotta jump that. I notice he seems to stop doing the like boomerang throw once he enters phase 2. He also hasn't done that very many times. Oh yeah, during that attack, you really don't have any time to heal. All these fights are coming down to the wire too. Okay, yeah, there's a boomerang throw there. And then, oh yeah, another thing is, any boss fight that incorporates jumping in their moveset that requires you to jump, or maybe not requires you to, but allows you to jump for a window of opportunity to punish them, is also a plus for me. Being able to incorporate those mechanics instead of it just being like dodge the attack, dodge it again, swing, dodge and swing. So that's another thing that I do like about this fight is he does have a couple attacks that you can jump. Whereas Divine Beast, as far as I know, really doesn't, besides like maybe the Frost Stomp. But even then, that one's pretty questionable. I've never tried to jump it myself. Okay. Right, I forgot how hard phase 2 picks up from phase 1. Like, I like the fire. I like it a lot. It makes it more, it definitely adds that extra layer of depth to it that the fight needs. I think otherwise, that fight couldn't possibly be higher than B tier. Possibly even C tier. But in my head, I feel like I remember it more fondly. Like my first playthrough compared to this one. I don't know if it's just because he's kind of frail, like he takes a lot of damage, or what. I don't know. I'm tempted to lower this boss into B tier with Dancing Lion. I think, yeah, for now, I'm gonna put it in B tier. Looking at the rest of the bosses, I can definitely see some other ones that I know will fit into A tier. So, yeah, we're just gonna roll with that. B tier Putrescent Knight. I think I still like Putrescent Knight more than Divine Beast Dancing Lion though. Although it is really close. There's definitely an argument to be made for this. Even though before I thought I liked Putrescent Knight more. I mean, Dancing Lion just has a better OST, and also the fight has more cool mechanics, more interesting elements to it. No pun intended. But we'll just leave it at that. Both in B tier. Putrescent above Beast. Next was, I believe, Mesmer. Now, Mesmer is an interesting one. Spoiler alert, I'm currently working on a guide for this boss. And this boss is, well, I mean, it's my favorite boss in this DLC. I love Mesmer so much. I think that any fight that's against a boss and it's clear what they're doing, aka they're not horrendously large and off screen, you just kind of got to guess at what they're doing, and can also be parried, aka also why Rolana was so highly ranked. But Mesmer just has such a better feel to it than Rolana. It's got a better OST. It's got a more interesting phase 2. And it's just a satisfying boss overall. I love Mesmer the Impaler. Might even be, I think it's easily top 3, including the base game, which is impressive. But here we go. I've been practicing him, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do well against him, so we'll see. I might still get my ass beat. That was bad. My parries are off. I know he's close to staggering. This is one of the other attacks. I like that. I feel like Mesmer does give you a lot of opportunities to punish him. Oh, with the bleed too. So even if you're using like a really heavy weapon, like he leaves himself open a lot. Like with those attacks that leave him on the ground. I cannot parry him for shit right now. Also, that was something I figured out you can do when I was practicing against him, is jump attacking the like dragging thrust attack that he does. The super delayed ones. Also, like lore-wise, this boss is just sick.
A lord devoid of light. No, mother. Forgive me.
And has one of the coolest grabs in the game. Next to maybe Promised Consort. This one's definitely up there. This is a cool cutscene too.
Soon tarnished. Wilt thou be taken in the jaws
I love this fight.
of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light?
I just realized you can see like little worms in his eye or eye socket. Also, another thing I noticed is you kind of multi-hit Mesmer at some point during that animation, which is interesting. Oh yeah, shouldn't have two-handed my weapon there. That was a mistake. I had a lot to learn about Mesmer when I was practicing this fight as well. Wow, that was super bad dodge. Crazy snake RNG. The track is so good too. He's not doing any of his other attacks, like that one, which I'm used to parrying, but I mean, I didn't get to really show off the parries I normally do during this fight, unless I die right here. Oh yeah, he is not giving me any chance to... There we go. We got one parry in before the end.
America.
Really, really cool fight. I love the snakes in phase 2. They're not like... It makes his phase 2 different enough that it warrants its own discussion. Because he kind of like almost entirely converts his moveset. He can still do everything that he does normally, but he does that and then some. So he has more options for various ranges and points in time. So, I mean, I'm just a Mesmer fanboy. I think he's staying in S tier. I really like this fight. Doing it again, I mean, granted, also, like I said, I've been practicing this fight off stream. It's a incredible fight. I love it. The music, the fight. I should have showed off the grab attack. I'll probably throw in footage of that. But one of the most, funny enough, one of the most satisfying grab attacks to get hit by. The big chunky sound that it makes is like, you feel that in your damn core. But yeah, I love Mesmer the Impaler. Everything about him is fantastic. I think it's a very well designed boss. Up there with the greatest of the FromSoft titles. Moving on to a boss I'm not as fond of. Commander Gaius. I don't like this boss. I don't like him like at all. I think this boss kind of blows. I think he is the weakest in the DLC. Not only does he not have a unique track of music, he just plain old, it's like Tree Sentinel music or some shit. But I didn't even think he was a Remembrance boss when I first fought him. So, yeah. Still took me a while, but that's for reasons that I'll explain in a moment. Anyways, yeah, this is where I would put him based off my first playthrough, which, reminder, was a 0 blessing run. Yeah. Let's go fight Commander Gaius again. I won't really have much to say about this boss. I'm sure it'll all come out during the fight. I think I definitely want light roll. And we'll see how big of a difference light roll makes for what I believe is his most annoying attack. Still hits me even with light roll. Oh yeah, I forgot. I wanted to use another blessing. You don't get much opportunity to punish this boss either. So you kind of got to be pretty quick about it. So, I mean, off rip, I mean, I'm taking less damage than my first playthrough, which some of those attacks felt kind of like run ending. like the charge attacks, because they did like almost double that without any blessings. And that made this fight a lot more miserable when he had an attack that I felt almost helpless to dodge. That was just a bad attack there. That was on me. Phase 2. I don't think phase 2 even adds much to this fight. That was a horrible dodge. I mean, really a lot of this is going to come down to me just being bad, but either way. I don't know. I've heard other people say that they had zero issue with his dodge attack, but I've also heard other people say the same thing. That his dodge attack kind of feels like bullshit. Or not his dodge attack, but his charge. I mean, it's at least manageable at close range, but when he uses it as like an opener, at the start of the fight, it feels, I don't know. To put it into perspective, he does it at the start of every fight. Just about. And I felt like I got hit by it 85% of the time. Surprised I didn't get a stagger. This one must be a stagger, yeah. I mean, you can kind of bully him on his right side, though. I don't know. I mean, just mounted fights in general in FromSoft games, I feel are fairly weak, except for a few exceptions. But I don't know. Even after fighting him, I imagine that like my opinions of the bosses aren't going to change a whole lot from memory, but Gaius definitely isn't one of them. I don't know. Phase 2 doesn't feel any different. It doesn't feel like it introduces much. It just feels like another mounted boss fight in a FromSoft game to me. I think this is the weakest DLC boss. The weakest Remembrance DLC boss. So yeah, I think that's gonna solidify his place at the bottom of D tier. We're gonna be in kind of a gauntlet, I'm seeing. Next is the tree avatar. I don't know. This boss is interesting. I have some opinions on this boss. Immediately, I would say C tier. I think that's another hot take people aren't going to agree with. I don't know. I think that the tree avatar having 3 health bars and then not really changing a lot about its moveset in between each health bar it's just, I don't know, disappointing. Like, this boss really doesn't do much. It doesn't have many attacks, I feel. And not that like difficulty plays a huge factor into my placement for a lot of these, but it really wasn't a particularly difficult boss. Definitely not uninspired. I like the design of it, and I like the soundtrack. I think that it's well done. But we'll move on to the fight now. And I think much like the other builds, or the other bosses, we're going to do the same build. Although this boss is very weak to consecutive attacks, we're just going to stick with this one. It feels more like a, a test of endurance than anything. The fact that it has 3 health bars. Nice. As always, my depth perception in this fight is way off. I don't know why that is. Alright, that was bad. Also, any boss that has an attack like this that just kind of feels like it delays the fight is immediately less interesting to me. I do like that you can not riposte the boss for a bit of a tougher challenge. So it comes back at full instead of 75%. Oh, that one hit me. I mean, yeah. Phase 2, almost no different from Phase 1, besides that charge attack. I am thankful that they at least had the foresight to make it, it's AoE, not the AoE, the projectile attack, the golden balls only have 1 volley of them. Because in Phase 1, when those have like 5 volleys, that's a lot more annoying. And that's Phase 2. You'd think Phase 3 would be substantially different, right? Well, you'd be wrong. He opens with the charges. Still does the same projectile attacks. Music changes. Oh yeah, this is new. It starts to do that boom attack. This one feels like almost more like a gimmick fight. in the sense that booms it up multiple times. Really easy to dodge off gut reaction. Gimmick fight in the sense that I feel like it's supposed to be more like of an emotional thing. Kind of like how when Sif gets weak, he starts limping and is kind of pathetic. Or like old Demon King when he does like his final boom. And that should be it. Yeah, very simple fight. I mean, it's good, but I feel like for what it is, they could have done the exact same thing with just 2 health bars. But instead, making it into the second fight in Soul's history to have 3 health bars and it just be the same fight 3 health bars in a row. At least Frida has her first phase, which is her first phase. It's unique in its own right. And the second phase is the duo fight. And then the third phase is like her first one, but she's buffed. And she has all these AoEs and she has these new tricks and stuff. Whereas I'm pretty sure the only difference between phase 1 and 2 is the charge attack. And then the only difference between phase 2 and 3 is the AoE that he does at the end. And that's kind of disappointing to me. Also, I put it in C tier. I think that the Avatar boss is definitely better than Commander Gaius, for sure. But I do also think it's weaker than Dancing Lion. But is it worth being higher up in B tier or lower in D tier? I kind of think not. I think that this falls perfectly into C tier being average. Like, I'd be totally fine with this. Like, this doesn't really feel like a DLC boss almost. Like, I feel like the DLC bosses should have been reserved for the most interesting fights. Like, the best of the best. Just banger after banger. And, yeah, I think C is a perfectly good spot for this fight. Now, Metir, whatever you want to call it. Mother of Fingers. Gut reaction, another hot take. I didn't like this fight either. I don't know. Something about this fight just didn't really sit well with me. I don't know what it was. I don't even really remember what the track sounds like, but I do remember the run back being a bit annoying. Thankfully, there's a Statue of America there, but if you want to like change your build around or something, you have to run all the way back from the Grace in the Cathedral. Annoying more than anything. I would have to say it'd be somewhere in this range. Above Gaius, below Tree? Let's just say C tier below Tree. I mean, depending on how... Depending on my thoughts on it after fighting it this time around, because I haven't fought it since my first playthrough. It may or may not be higher ranked than Tree. Definitely not higher up in B tier. I would say right now, C tier below Tree Avatar. All right. I am realizing now that I didn't set this up, so I don't know if he's gonna leave his chair. I might need to do a bit of prepping. So this might be a minute. I'll see.
It is a inland seeing that we allow me to.
Oops. Not that it really matters. I don't think the prerequisite for reaching a boss should affect the ranking, but this is kind of an annoying and out of the way boss to get to. Same for Balin mid-drop, but my opinions on those bosses are way different from this one. This will actually give us the Crimson Seed +1, which will be nice. I could teleport straight down there, but that's going to bug out the boss fight.
The exalt gracious only you now. Think nothing I have made. May the gleaming.
I hate these finger ruins. They're empty, barren wastelands, just full of the most annoying enemies. They aren't even good at what they're supposed to do.
I heard enough. The star addressed ashore. On the contrary, now, may you. Oh, this eve, may you join.
Alright, so if I set it to nighttime, it should be open. Or, well, I guess he'd be in the graveyard. And then I can open it. No, he's still there. Was I supposed to talk to Yolan?
Count Eamon, for that I am. The night is in our eye. I'll meet. We know that we can. We will never.
Oh, yeah, Lizzie. I feel the conceit is then the answer. It never was. Marika.
Didn't he give me the third one?
Ah, well, I poor girl. Her tongue can be. Don't think. May you.
Maybe I have to interact with the gravestone? Oh, you know what? Maybe it has to do with the charm. I think the seal isn't broken yet. This might be the fastest way. Yeah. He's still sitting there. What is he doing? This is kind of annoying. Can I shoot him with a bow? Maybe I have to exhaust his dialogue.
Lizzie. He knew that isn't it tragic that he would feel in the play. Do you that Marek? Well, it is them. The fingers we all knew. We studied by you long ago. We too, is that not? And yet, may you.
Ah, there we go. Down we go. I am gonna have to fight Anna or whatever her name is. All right. What did I have on? I think it was Claw and Shard of Alexander. All right. Finally here. So This fight, I have poor memories of, but also, we'll see how this goes. I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of the, like, weird, like, finger attacks, and then it's got, like, this soft spot in the front. No, it's still jank. Taking a lot of damage here. This attack, and not a fan of that. Alright. Just a weird boss overall. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Rom from Bloodborne. But like, I don't know. Worse. At least I don't feel like my frame rate is constantly being destroyed. There is one attack that does kind of destroy my frame rate. Oh, you can get lasered from right there. Also, that was a stun lock. I couldn't get out of that. Being able to get lasered from anywhere, it's kind of annoying. It's kind of like a stay away from me. I don't know. I'm just not really passionate about this fight at all. I still think all of the Remembrance bosses in this DLC are passable at worst. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who love like Commander Gaius. I'm just not one of those people. And then like this boss, I know I had a bunch of people coming through here saying that they thoroughly enjoyed it, but I don't know. Is it a cool boss design? Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's got a cool design, but it doesn't necessarily make a good boss. Oh, I'm also remembering now. Some of the boss's attacks were really odd. And they had like multi-hits to them. Like that front-facing finger attack. Yeah, this boss is just annoying to me more than anything. That would literally insta-kill me on my 0 blessing run. Yeah, that was just greedy of me. Although I think one of the benefits of this DLC is that like you can fight a lot of these bosses without too many blessings. So, like, even if a boss does too much damage, you can always just go and get more blessings and come back. I know that's kind of like go farm runes pilled, but I mean, I don't know. I guess on the flip side of that, though, is if you've been looking for them and you just aren't good at finding them and you miss a bunch of them and, like, you don't know where you miss them, it can be kind of tedious to have to comb through the areas you've already been in. Whereas with farming runes, you just kill bosses and enemies and shit. Pretty straightforward, comparably. Almost missed my opportunity there. And like, that's weird too. The boss doesn't have like a, I don't know. If you're standing next to a boss and they're whiffing attacks, I think that makes it less interesting to fight. Nice. Still not sure how to dodge that attack after all this time that I've spent fighting this boss. That hitbox feels like it's really early too. I mean, this is a cool attack, but another one of those just kind of stall. That's the only time I ever avoid that attack. If I'm too far when it starts doing that, I'm screwed. The boss design's really cool. I like the way it looks. I like how it's like a weird finger scorpion creature. Still not entirely sure how to avoid that. The first one always hits me. I guess I could just keep running away. And that's that. I don't know. Again, I don't know. This boss, like, if it was just a boss design tier list, I would probably rank it pretty high, but it's not. I don't know. The boss just doesn't really feel good to fight to me. Even like coming back and not really having a whole lot of muscle memory for the fight and just like a few blessings. I mean, it took me a couple tries, but on this attempt that I did win, I kind of stomped it. So, I don't know. The boss just doesn't really sit right with me. Still. Second go around too. Let's flip back to the tier list. C tier below Tree Avatar. Is it below Tree Avatar? I will say at least it has a different phase 2. And instead of like the Tree Avatar, I feel like Mother of Fingers brings more to the table. compared to Tree Avatar. And for that, I think I'm going to put Mother Fingers above the Tree Avatar. Yeah. Not much more to say about this boss. So, moving on to Aramina, Saint of the Bud. Okay, Ramana, Saint of the Bud. I like this boss's design. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of it afterwards. Gut reaction, placement, I would probably say B tier above Putrescent Knight, possibly low A tier. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still thinking about this too. Putrescent Knight might be below Dancing Lion. I like Ramana. I think Ramana feels like a very solid, fair fight. We'll just move on to the boss fight before I start thinking too hard. Let me check one thing real quick. Okay. All right, Ramina. Yeah, so my first playthrough, this boss gave me a little bit of trouble, but it wasn't like a... It didn't take too long. I think Ramina probably took me the least amount of time out of all of the Remembrance fights, next to maybe the Tree Avatar on my first playthrough. I'm not 100% sure, though. I'll just jump right in. This is one of the mandatory bosses for the DLC. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of is the sweet spot whole thing you got to do against this boss. I feel like you kind of have to hit her in the body. Otherwise, her damage gets gutted. Which is kind of the same thing for the Tree Avatar, but at least the Tree Avatar has way less health. Music's good for this fight, too. Staggers so easily. That's gotta be like 80 poise. Oh, yeah. You gotta get out of there. Again, she does suffer from that issue of missing when you're like directly next to her. I think that's only like if your character's crouched, which makes her super exposed to jump attacks, which are like the meta for like dealing damage to bosses. So many people will just kind of spam down bosses by going for jump attacks with like 2 colossal weapons or something. Second attack always comes out faster than I remember. I feel like her attacks are super lenient too. I wonder if that's because she's a mandatory boss of this DLC and non-optional. Oh, that was a stored input. What in the Quelag? What up, Reedy? And we got a stagger to finish it off. How am I? I'm well. Just doing some practicing. I don't know. I guess some testing to see how I'd rank these bosses. Messing around with this stuff. Yeah, I do really like this boss fight. I think that Ramen is a very solid fight. Super lenient though. Maybe a little too much so. How have you been, Reedy? So where did I place her again? I think it was an A tier. I don't know. I feel like she's kind of not. No, B tier. Yeah, no. I think that she's definitely like a solid B tier boss. I really like Ramana, but seeing the next bosses coming up, I already know where I think that they would go. And currently, also, I see I have chat and rechat on here. Let me remove that. Looking forward to playing more of this game. Nice, nice. If you're trying to avoid spoilers, this is a horrible time to show up to stream, by the way. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave Ramana in B tier. I definitely like Ramana more than Putrescent Knight. Not pressed. Okay. But is it on the same level though? Okay, I think I'm just gonna do it. I think Dancing Lion's better than Putrescent Knight. For sure. The music, the whole theme, the elemental sequences. Because like Putrescent Knight's fire is cool and all, but it doesn't have the same impact as Dancing Lion. And then I feel like there's maybe an argument to be made to like lower Putrescent Knight. I would never put the tree avatar down with Commander Gaius though. So far he is the only one that I would put down there. He is easily my least favorite and will likely be the only boss that goes in D tier. Yeah, I think I'm okay with Ramana Saint of the Bud being in B tier. Let's head back and go to Midra. Right. That is second floor chamber. right? Isn't it this one? Yeah. Okay, and I forgot my instant pick for Midra. I love this fight. Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame, was an S tier fight for me. For obvious reasons, if you see my first playthrough, everything about it is just so fun. And it's still a tricky fight, even if you get a hang of the parries and stuff like that. But the boss design is phenomenal. The cutscene's incredible. My only gripe with the fight is having to fight the old guy in the beginning. That is my only gripe with this fight. Yeah, let's see if my opinion of Midra has changed. I'm still going to be going for parries because, why wouldn't I? I love parrying this boss. I almost want to put on the dagger talisman. In fact, I think I will. This is another boss that requires you to parry them 3 times. Which I think is good, considering it's not too difficult to parry them. Also, let's pull out a Misericord. And we'll just go with, doesn't really matter. Lightning. Oh, that'll put me in heavy load. I can do Jarsenal, I guess. I'm not pressed about it. Alright. This fight is so good.
The depths of your foolishness!
Nice. They made him a little bit bulkier than they should have, I think. It would have had the same impact if you had, like, 2,000 less health. We're gonna watch the cutscene. It's a really good cutscene.
Enough. I have endured more than enough.
Oh, I guess my other gripe with this boss is it's not really a fault of the boss itself.
I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya.
I don't like how out of the way it is to get here. Like, it takes so much time. I think this boss would have made for a fantastic mandatory. I love it. Oh yeah, I also love the grab animation too. I think I'm gonna let him grab me at some point. Might kill me, but we'll see. Oh yeah, right. He does that for the opener. I don't remember if he does his grab in phase 1. Right? Got a bit of muscle memory to work back up. these riposts are hitting hard too. Oh, right, he does that. Oh, that was bad. I just didn't react in time. I don't remember if he does his grab in phase 1.
Depths of your...
Alright, I'm locked in now. Oh yeah, we're gonna be getting so many staggers too. I'll just riposte with this, keep my lightning slash. Oh yeah, we do the bleed build up too. Phase 2 already. Guess I didn't run far enough. That was so bad. That was also bad. The music's so good too. It reminds me of Ludwig's from Bloodborne. It's got a kind of like a waltz type vibe to it. A lot of these bosses are probably meant to be fought at a higher blessing level. But I did all these as 0, so like I'm kind of used to it. I think Bale, however, I'm definitely going to be leveling up for. Nice little bleed. That's super delayed and phase 2. I gotta be careful. Oh yeah, I want to see the grab. I think this is it. Yeah, let's see. I love the way he... I love that. It's just... It's so fucking sick to get hit by that. And the way he, like, reels back and he raises his arms up. It's like such a... I'm better than you type of pose. It reminds me of I know I made this comparison last time. It reminds me of Gladiator, When he's like, "Are you not entertained?" It's like he's like a gladiator, you know, trying to gain the approval of the crowd. I don't know. Kind of a silly comparison, but I love it. I love it so much. That this boss is just like this boss and Mesmer just feels so good to fight too. And he doesn't even do like a ridiculous amount of madness build up with everything he does either. I would say it's pretty reasonable, actually. That was bad. Oh, wrong flask. Still got to be careful about madness, just not as much. I also have really low focus on this character, I believe. Oh, that's death. He went for the instant get up laser beam. That is one thing he can do, and you can't really tell when he's doing it either. I definitely died a couple of times to that in my normal run. Me getting madness there is what got me killed, because that doesn't normally do a whole lot of damage. Definitely not enough to kill me instantly, like it did there. But it is kind of jank that, like, he can cancel that attack, the explosion, into the laser beam when you can't really see. What up, Mr. John? Welcome. Right. There's a stagger. Oh, if you hit him again and stumbles him out of it. Didn't know that. Should be one more to a... Oh, never mind. It's so easy to avoid now that I know how to avoid it. That sun attack gave me a lot of trouble before. Oh, so delayed. It's only the fire one that's that delayed. Oh, right. Oh, that was close. Might get madness again. God, I love the music. It's so good. We need to stall out our madness meter. God, I'm so bad. Such a beautiful boss. And this has to be like some of the best music in the DLC as well. finish it. I'm almost sad the fight ended. It's so good. It's so good. This might be better than Mesmer. I might like this fight more than Mesmer. I already said it's a boss that I can parry 10 out of 10. Hell, that fits perfectly from being so Bloodborne-y. It's such a fucking phenomenal fight. Although, like I said, the only gripe that I have is that weird instance where he can cancel the fire, like the sun explosion into the laser beam. But, like, I mean, other than that, that's literally the only complaint I have. It's 10 out of 10 fight. Going back to the tier list here. I'm so tempted. It's an S fight. It's an S tier fight, straight up. I'm not changing that. Now, whether I would say it's better than Mesmer the Impaler, that's another story. I don't know. I feel like Mesmer just has that extra layer of immersion and, like, story building to his fight compared to Midra, where they're both immaculate fights. It comes down to, like, the boss design and the music. And I like Mesmer's design more. I like Midra's music more. They're both on par with each other. But I think that Mesmer gets the edge out a little bit more. S tier fight, A tier overall, since you must go through that awful catacomb to get to him. Yeah, we're not going to factor in all that. I did mention earlier that the difficulty of getting to him is really tedious and frustrating, because it's a long ways to go to set it up, and then you got to navigate his legacy dungeon. It's really frustrating, but I'm not going to hold that against the boss itself. I wish this boss was mandatory and less out of the way. I guess a final note on Midra. It is a very, very fun fight to parry. If you want to, like, practice parrying against bosses, or you want to get into parrying bosses, Midra is the perfect fight for that. It is, like, it's rewarding without being cheese. And yeah, it's just phenomenal fight. I can't get over it. I love it so much. All right, next stop. We're on our final two. Discord message about the United fight. Did I? I think I saw it, but I forgot to respond. Was that about the Letta fight? You had to fight all of them at once. So that's the case. That's fucked. Actually, I'm gonna run and grab more water real quick. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna need it for all this yapping I'm doing. You fought 5 people? That's fucked. I do not envy you, Mr. John. Alright, give me 1 sec. I'm back. So it seems that fight can range from 2 adversaries, Aletta and Dane, to 5. 5 plus. Freya, more horn scent. Oh, 5 plus Freya, more and horn scent. Damn. Wait, how does it end up with horn scent? Horn scent? Oh, I guess that's if you have her kill Atelier or Tiolier, whatever his name is. And she doesn't kill horn scent. Help protect him from Letta, ungrateful. Right. Yeah, Bale the Dread. I fought Bale the Dread very, very early on my first playthrough. Not that it mattered because I was doing a no fragment run anyways. And I wasn't leveling up, so I was pretty much level 125 throughout the entire DLC. I do really like Bale the Dread. He is one of those bosses that has a ton of health and kind of requires you to hit him in the head like most boss dragons. Not like all of them. I think it's a very well done dragon fight. In the sense that it doesn't feel like Bale's running from you a whole lot. He's kind of stationary, except for phase 2 shenanigans, but other than that, I think Bale, aside from like the fragmentless run that I did, which initially I didn't have like a great experience with him because I kind of had to switch my build to min-max my damage. Because it felt like he was resisting every single thing that I did to him. But we'll see again with how it goes. But I still think that he was like a bottom A tier. I think that Bale the Dread was definitely better than Ramina and Dancing Lion personally. But we just got to go fight him. Bale felt epic with Igon. It was like Ahab and Moby Dick. Fair enough. That's funny. I never thought of it like that. I still have to do his quest line and try fighting Bale with him. I saw it earlier, like the dialogue and stuff. It's so funny. A stupid soul mass phalanx, whatever it's called, one shot you. Damn, really? All right. Let's go fight Bale. And we're gonna use exactly this too. Same with every other fight, but we're gonna use more blessings. Probably go up to we'll go up to 10 just to see how that feels. I've been sitting at a clean 5 for most of these fights. But Bale, you kind of really need it. Otherwise, your damage is just so low. Which, I mean, is fair, because I feel like Bale is meant to be fought on high blessing count anyways. Like 10 minimum. At 0, I did no damage to him with, like, anything. Also, Bale is, I believe, super weak to Pierce compared to everything else. I can't wait for the Fextra Life to update with all of their absorptions and stuff, because I need to know what Bale's stats are. I'm so curious. Moore was tanky as shit, and he kept throwing hefty rot pots. Nice. His shield charge did no damage. That's good. At least it wasn't insta-killing you. Like shield crash does, like on the fingerprint shield, that shit'll insta-kill you. I don't even know if I want to do claw. I want to do as many poke attacks as I can. I almost wish I had the Rakshasa Great Katana. We'll just go with the Shard of Alexander, I guess. Great Sword of Damnation made that fight fun. Should have used more madness throughout. Oh yeah, for like the NPC type fights. It must do so much damage. Or be like so much easier to apply. Madness. Alright, Bale, here we go. A 1,000. I think that's reasonable. Where's he looking? No audio? Oh shit, I'm on the wrong scene. I'm gonna restart the fight. I was on the wrong scene. Gonna restart the fight. This one's the real first attempt. I forgot to change it after I went AFK. That's just the monitor 1 capture, which I don't use for game capture. Thanks for the heads up, Mr. John, because that would have just went straight into the video. Should get back in your footage and look at everyone's dialogue. I'm curious. Alright, jab into bite. Oh, didn't mean to roll in. Kind of pinned in this corner here. I feel a stagger coming on. Maybe not anymore. Uh-oh. Yeah, my damage isn't dog shit with 10 blessings. Who'd have thought? That's bad. I shouldn't sideways jump like that. Music's so good in this fight too. Right, the jab into the bite. I mean, I don't think I'm winning this attempt. Oh, phase 2. On the flip side, I'll see what the dialogue is if there's only 2 of them. Maybe they'll just fill in our ally spouse some rando, a guy named George or something. I really like this this phase transition attack too. I think it blows set of sacks out of the water. right. That goes into the crossfire. That does too. Gotta be more careful about what I'm punishing. That was so early. Yeah, I forgot about that attack too. I forgot the fire hits the ground and then the travel is what gets you. Yeah, Bale's a tough fight for sure. Lots of health, very bulky. I could also definitely be using a better setup than what I am currently. But overall, I mean, it's a very epic fight. It's very similar to Placiduous Axe, but I would say better. Placiduous Axe kind of feels like he crutches on his lightning. And I don't feel that with Bale. Oh, that was so early. Interesting. Easy to whiff on his head. It's a little irritating, but also up against the fog wall here. Big guy Bale let me out. Yeah, I shouldn't even try to punish that. I went for something goofy there, just to see if I could. Oh, thought I was dead. Oh, okay, that's a double bite. It's also delayed. Yeah, I need to just get like an R1 there. Surprised I'm alive. Thought for sure that would kill me. Yeah, lightning slash there isn't even safe. Boss design wise, Bale gets a 10 out of 10. I love the way he looks. Thought I could outrun that part for some reason. Oh. Definitely gonna lose this attempt. It always gets me. I am not doing well. Met the dodge again. I did it again. I dodged way too early there. I need to watch the ground to see when the fire starts traveling towards me. I feel like 10 blessings is even kind of on the low end. Although I could be using a much stronger build. I feel like Bill could have more opportunities to punish him. I mean, I feel like there is a lot, but okay, you get a long time. You can wail on him once he gets staggered. I'm just not realizing. Oh, surprised it hit me. I mean, that was a really good phase one. I feel like some of his attacks just don't have any, or maybe it's not that he doesn't have many punish opportunities, it's that his attacks leave his head kind of like bobbing around. So it's easy to miss his head. Especially for using a horizontal weapon. Going for 2 attacks there is greedy. I just gotta get the 1. Ooh, that can be early. I mean, I'm just lucky. I should be dead. I keep dodging everything so early. All his breath attacks. What's this? The boom. Surprised that didn't hit me. Right, that does magma on the ground. Camera, please. Such a cool fight. Yeah, like combos like this where they just kind of go on and on. I feel like they could be a little bit shorter. Especially for a boss like Bale that just has so much health. I mean, although... Ah, I meant the dodge there. Excellent. Hit the jump. I lost track of him when I dropped my lock on. I am definitely not winning this. Not unless I get a stagger or something. How am I alive? HP check? 1. I literally have 1 health. Yeah. Man, dodging that one's tough. I'm still not 100% sure how I dodged that. Obviously, you have to time it, but I don't know if sprinting to the left there is a good idea. We're getting into the final 2 fights, so these are going to be rough. I think Bale took me the second longest out of all the bosses. I don't know what that is. I was holding forward. Surprised that hit me. If I die again, I'll probably use a blessing every time until I beat him. I think going for the jump attack there is the mistake. God, it's like so close to hitting him. Alright, yep. surprised he just missed me there. Oh, no stamina. That was close. That was bad. Oh. What attack was that? Yeah, I feel like Bale just... He's gonna suffer from the same thing that the next boss is gonna suffer from. I'm gonna use, I'll just use one more. These, like, middle level blessings aren't gonna matter as much. I'm gonna go to max for Promised Consort. Really just gotta go for a rolling attack there. Actually hit him there that time. Maybe it's a me problem that I keep missing. Yeah, he telegraphs that he's doing the roar. I'm just interesting. I'm just really bad. I misjudged when that was gonna run out. Come on, camera, please. Yeah, you gotta get out from under him there. Otherwise the magma will hit you. That's bad. He almost does that, like, without fail. The bone jab after the grab attack. Nice, I'm bad. Ooh, that was fast. It's also possibly the longest fight in the DLC. Okay, he ends up on my left there. Yeah, always does the bone jab. Okay, that's gonna be tough to remember how to avoid. Good punish too if you can just dodge it properly. There we go. Not too bad. I mean, it's an intuitive fight. Like it's not. It's easier to learn like while it's happening. To, like pick up on his attacks because a lot of them are pretty similar. Overall, very good fight. Do I still think he's A tier though? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of bosses that are just that large, that they like kind of take up most of your screen and sometimes you can't even see what they're doing. But in Bale's case, if you're close enough to him, or like if you're in front of him enough, but not too close to him, that's never an issue. You can always see what he's doing while still being a really large boss. And there's never a point where it's like, oh man, he was just off my screen because he was so large. That only happens like maybe once in a while when you end up directly under him. Overall, do I think Bale is A tier? I think I do. I do think Bale is A tier at least. Do I think he's better than Relana though? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I'm kind of thinking, yeah, even though you can parry Relana, I don't know. I just feel like her fight's not as impactful as Bale's is. I just wish that Bale had slightly more opportunities to, or slightly longer opportunities to punish, or maybe they just made his head more easily hittable. I don't know. It seems like it'd be a lot more difficult with weapons that are horizontal. That being said, I think I'm actually going to raise Bale up above Relana. I do really like his fight. So yeah. And that'll be it for Bale. Now, the moment we've been all waiting for. It didn't go through. In your footage of the United fight, she does say our allies instead of our allies. So it's possible she might not say that off. It's just them two. Okay. Fair enough. Radon, Consort of Mikola. This fight, honestly, I really don't know. This is going to be, hang on, let me respond to a text. Okay, Radon's going to be probably the most controversial. Or maybe not, I don't know. I still genuinely don't know whether I should place him high or low. My first playthrough, it took me about 10 hours to beat him. And, I mean, it felt really good when I did. But his phase 2 is just like... I know it's not an issue, or maybe not as big of an issue on console, but on PC, it just shreds my frame rate. The performance is just not good. Like, half of his attacks gut my frame rate down to like 20, 30 FPS. Very difficult boss. Incredibly difficult. But much more manageable when you factor in parrying. And he has attacks that I still, even after 10 hours of fighting him, that I still don't really know how to dodge without just parrying the attack. And I think that that's a pretty big negative for him, because, I mean, any boss with attacks that can't be avoided, well, I'm not saying it can't be avoided, but I'm saying that I can't avoid it, even after 10 hours of fighting him. And I think that that's a net negative for the boss. So I would probably say off my first playthrough, my gut pick is somewhere right here. I would say like below Bale, above Relana. Still a solid fight. I like phase 1. I like phase 1 a lot. But it's just, I don't know. Something about it just... It's an epic fight. It's got great music, great boss design. Difficult as all hell. We'll just jump into it. We'll jump into the boss fight. And I'll give it another good go. Front staircase. Now, for this fight, it's a little bit more interesting because, Radon does so much fucking damage. I need the, Pearl Drake plus... Or not Pearl Drake, the Halig Drake plus 2. I'm also going to be going up to... Maybe not max. I'll go to, like... 18 blessings. Or 17. 17 should be fine. And with, yeah, 71 physical, 68 holy, that should be a lot more manageable. This boss does a ridiculous amount of damage. And, kind of rough to fight. To put it quite frank. You forgot more fat rolls. Nice. Of course he does. Alright. Let's see if it's still an A tier fight. Or if I would place it higher. Also the cutscene.
Loyal blade and champion of the festival. Both your deeds will ever be praised in song. Now, the vow will be honored, and my lord brother's soul will return, so that he may be my consort.
Oh, and you can hear the music slowly picking up. Ten out of 10 entrance, 10 out of 10 boss design, 10 out of 10 music. Everything about this fight is perfect. Like, you could not get any better. But the fight itself, phase 1, I would say phase 1's really good. Oh, the music. But then phase 2, it's just like, it's so rough for no reason. Cool. That's too slow for me to swing twice on. That attack. I simply don't know how to avoid it. Maybe I should go for a dodge after my attack. Oh, so Ansbach has a lot of dialogue during the United fight? Really? I think phase 1 is very fair. Cutscenes are all really good. Miktala's grab is phenomenal. It's so cool. I'm not going to showcase that there just because this fight is rough, but... And this is where I think that this boss goes from being S tier down to A tier.
Lord brother.
Don't get grabbed twice. Yeah, Elden Ring. Don't get grabbed
At
twice.
long last you are returned.
Miyazaki and his feet.
Tarnished one. Aspiring lord of the old order. If you have known sin, if you grieve for this world, then yield the path forward to us. to I, Mikola, and my promised consort, Radahn.
Oh, great. Great time for my controller to disconnect, by the way. Alright, well, we'll just eat it. We still have our buff, so... Alright. I mean, a lot of the holy blasts aren't unavoidable. They just appear directly in front of him. So, like, as long as you're just rolling into him, you don't have to worry about getting hit by them. Getting hit by those clones is kind of rough. Because it kind of confirms that the second part's going to hit you. Alright. That is the attack, I mean, by the way, that just guts my frame rate. Gotta get back in the momentum here. If you lose momentum in this fight, you're kind of screwed. Because you'll just be playing catch up trying to heal the whole time. I'm really not taking a whole lot of damage at all. Not even max blessing either. Right? I had time there to heal or hit him. Bad. That was a bad dodge. I'm surprised it didn't hit me. Alright, here's where I choked the fight. And this is what I meant about losing momentum. And that is the fight. Me avoiding this perfectly is like 0 out of 10% chance. Or 0 out of 10. 0 out of 100% chance. Simply, I've only ever perfectly dodged that like once. But I mean, like my first attempt with like a, you know, just like a whatever build. I don't think this boss is as bad as everybody says. Especially because like the recommended level to do this fight, or like do the DLC in general, is 150. And like those are all points that you could have spent in damage or, you know, whatever you want. More health, like you could even go above the soft cap. Yeah, I choked. I mean, to be fair, I did get pretty bad RNG. Great Katana would not be my first choice of weapon for this fight. In fact, I would say it's probably not very good for this fight. Weird Fexture on the Blessing. So many of the comments are angry about their use and balance of the DLC. No, I get why they did it. What I believe to be the reason why they did it is because they just didn't want people blasting through it with their characters who were soul level like 700 or whatever. At 20, it's roughly 2 times damage dealt in half. Yeah, 50% damage reduction. It's huge. It's a huge difference. I also think this phase should happen at 50% health instead of 75. Worst defender, apparently the amount of fragments you need is 49, not 50. Really? That's funny. I didn't know that. Nope, not the attack I thought he was doing. That's bad. I need to not try to parry that straight away. That's worst case scenario. Uh-oh. I've never seen him do that from so close. I was kind of confused at what he was doing. And I mean, Radana is incredibly weak to parrying. Thank you, holy damage negation. Still kind of workshopping how to perfectly dodge that attack. I've only ever dodged it perfectly once, I think. Music's phenomenal. Nice, last hit was a bleed. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. My biggest gripe with this fight is just the fact that it kills my frame rate, really. I mean, after all this time, I still feel like it's really good. I think it helps the end of just about every combo of his has a generous punish / flask window. Some of them a lot more than others. GG so easy. I don't know. It's hard for me to place this fight. It really is. I think that some of his attacks, a lot more than others, leave him open, but some of them, like, the way he hits you and knocks you back into the AoE of the light, kind of like, if you don't have as much health as I do, that's a death sentence. Which means casters are going to have one hell of a fight against this boss. And, I don't know. That's tough. It's really tough. I like this fight. Straight up, I do like this fight. Do I like it more than Bale? I would have to say yeah. For some reason, I don't know. I thought I remember liking it a little bit less, but even after doing it now, Terra Magica plus Common Azure plus Radon Shackle, yeah. You just gotta find the Radon Shackle. That'd be funny if Moog Shackle worked on him. I wonder if somebody's tested that yet. Is it an S tier fight though? I can't. I can't in good conscience put it in S tier when it has such glaring issues like the frame rate destruction attacks. That'd be hilarious. It would make sense. I mean, lore-wise, right? They also nerfed Terra Magica. I think they nerfed the damage buff on it. Yeah, I think that this is... I'm fine with him being an A tier for now. Maybe in the future if they change it so that the performance side of things, at least on PC, isn't an issue. Then for me, he's top of A tier. And this kind of balanced out pretty well, I would say. Has a nice little bell curve to it. What do we think about this tier list? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I just want to bring these up really quickly. Golden Hippo and Furnace Golem. Golden Hippo is a decent fight. It's not mandatory, but Mesmer is, and to get in through the main entrance, you do have to fight Golden Hippo. It's a decent little fight. Not like crazy good, but for it being a non-remembrance boss fight, I would put it here in B tier. So yeah, but I'm not gonna leave it on there just for reasons. Infernus Golem D tier. What the fuck were they thinking? This shit is so bad. Even as a gimmick, like, one-off boss, it would still be annoying, but the fact that there's, like, 10 of these things, and they're just so annoying, is... I hate them. This is the Fire Giant of this DLC. In fact, I would put them in an E tier below Commander Gaius if I could. I'm still debating Mesmer and Midra. And then I could stand to lower Putrescent Knight to C tier, but I just don't think it's on the same level as Mother of Fingers and Tree Avatar. I think those bosses are reserved like C, like as the most average you could get. If anything, nah. I was gonna say maybe Mother of Fingers could be up where Putrescent Knight is and swap spots, but I just don't like Mother of Fingers. I just don't like Finger Mommy at all. It's okay at best, but like, it's not a fun fight, I would say. I could maybe see Radahn going... I feel like Bale and Radahn is kind of interchangeable. And then B tier, I feel like Ramana and Dancing Lion is kind of interchangeable. Like, these two are as close as you could be to, like, being equal, I think. I feel bad putting Tree Avatar as the second worst Remembrance boss, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's in C tier. Doesn't make it a bad fight. At least Metter has the cool looking attacks in phase 2. Right, that's my thought. That's why I put Tree Avatar below Mother of Fingers. Because Tree Avatar has 3 health bars and only gains 1 new attack in phase 2 and then 1 new attack in phase 3. Which is, that's boring. For a fight that's just kind of like an endurance battle. I mean, I think that this boss would be better if it had one less health bar. Maybe a bit more health on first phase. Nah, actually, no. I think its health in first phase is fine. Maybe a bit more in phase 2. Or just make it come in at 100%. Instead of repost it for a quarter of its health. Got that Freed treatment? Yeah, but the thing about that is, like, at least Freed has 2, like, completely new phases after her first. I mean, Black Flame isn't really completely new. Just need an old guy duct taped to a chair. Yeah, phase 2 does suck, but at least it's different. I think phase 2 is way more annoying. Sister Freed and Father Ariandel or whatever. But this isn't about that. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied. And I'm debating whether, for this tier list video, whether I want to go on a whole tangent about my thoughts on the DLC overall, or if I'm just going to keep it simple as just the tier list. Because I feel like with the amount of discussing that I've done, it's gonna be probably a bit longer than I would like for just being a tier list video. So, I mean, I guess I can just get my thoughts out now and then I can decide whether I want to use it later or not. Overall, I really like this DLC a lot, despite the review bomb on Steam having mixed reviews and the problems being primarily issues with balance and like difficulty. I think some areas could use some tweaking. There's a lot of dead areas that they're just wastelands. There's nothing there. No items, no enemies. Yeah. Not super fun to go through type. But a lot of the legacy dungeons in this are really solid. Probably better than the base game, I would say. People complain about difficulty in a FromSoft game. I don't think the Radon Consort of Miquella fight is unfounded, though. I think that it is kind of ridiculous. Like how crazy they went with it. But I think that Radon is more difficult than Melania. But that might just be a side effect of me having spent so many more hours fighting Melania. And Near Ilum wasn't the worst. It was okay to navigate with 16 plus blessings. Ah, fair enough. I mean, there isn't many enemies there. It's just like a couple of heavy hitters. All the enemies there felt like mini bosses, which was the toughest part. I would probably, I know we talked about this before, but I think I would put the DLC at a 9 out of 10. I think that there's just like too many dead zones and performance issues. I mean, the way I'm describing it sounds like I would put it even lower than a 9 out of 10, but the map design, like all that stuff can be fixed. Well, maybe not the dead zones, but just nothing there unless they patched in more content, which would be crazy. But performance issues can be fixed, and that's also a PC exclusive issue from what I'm to understand. Like the areas are beautiful, the lore is phenomenal, the NPCs, like the dialogue it's gripping. It's everything about it is it's enjoyable. The dungeons are really cool too. A lot of them are. Oh yeah, another one of my gripes is the reusage of vanilla bosses. Just left a bad taste in my mouth too. You have very high standards, 8.5 out of 10. I can respect that. 8.5 is still very solid for DLC. I think that most of like everything, probably Putrescent Knight and above, is better than most of the base game bosses. Aside from obviously like towards the end. But the difference with that though is these are designed to be late game bosses, so they're meant to be more complex. Game of the year, and it's a DLC. Well, there's still a whole lot of year left. I don't know what's slotted to come out this year, but definitely really, really high quality content. I mean, FromSoft just be putting out bangers. Probably still give it to Helldivers. I still have yet to play Helldivers. Oh yeah, I love the way that the areas intertwined. And just the way that it didn't feel like jarring to just go from one biome to another one. Like there was always like a steady, seamless transition into a new area. Like to get to Jagged Peak, you're not just walking in a meadow and then boom, Lightning Mountain. You know, you go through this cave, this large tunnel that just goes down and down and down, and then it spits you out into the base of the Jagged Peak. So cool. I love it. And the Cerulean Coast, I love it. The areas are just, they're gorgeous. And the enemy design, a lot of them are definitely kind of like reskins of base game enemies, like the black flame birds or whatever they're called. The ghost flame birds. They're kind of just like birds, but they hit way harder and they can shoot projectiles. Obviously the knights, they're basic knights, which I mean you can't really fault them for that. At least like the Death Knights had the blink bolt stuff, so that was pretty cool. And the Black Knights have their kind of soft crucible stuff that they do. Like where's his name? Was it Black Knight Edred, the one who was using the twin blade? But yeah, I mean oh yeah, and the whole like the storylines for all the NPCs is just so cool. Like I loved Count Emir's quest line. Did not like the fight against him. Fight against him sucked. It was horrible. If I had to rank it, it would be a D tier fight. That shit was not fun. But like the quest line and like the scavenger hunt for the ruins and stuff like that, really cool stuff. And the new weapons, like I didn't even mention the weapon classes. All of them fantastic. Every single one of them was a hit. Like you've got, I mean, the Smith script weapons aren't a weapon class on their own, but the throwing weapons are cool. They only added the one throwing blade, which was disappointing, but I mean, hey, I'm expecting another DLC because they kind of introduced these weapon classes and then didn't really like let them flesh out to make them more enticing to use. Like if you miss that one singular throwing blade weapon in the cave that's not mandatory, you might never even see a throwing blade in your entire playthrough. And then there's like one Ash of War for it, so it's like, why'd they even bother adding it when they could have just added more other things? But my point isn't that they shouldn't have done that. My point is, it feels like that they're not done cooking yet. And great katanas, which I used for this whole tier list thing. Great katanas are fantastic. I love them. Moveset's beautiful. There's 3 of them. 2 with unique Ashes of War. All of them are really strong. Perfume bottles, they're really cool. Being able to inflict pure damage, like pure elemental damage, without using spells is always a plus. And it makes it more viable for those other classes too. Like the int scaling frostbite bottles and the dex and oh yeah, the pure dex scaling fire bottles that just do fire damage. That's sick. The hand-to-hand weapons are really cool. I don't know how good they are. I haven't got to mess with them a whole lot. The beast claws are really cool. Like fantastic moveset. Really fun in PvP. And that's a whole nother thing is all the stuff they've done that like is so it's like tossed the PvP meta on its head. At least currently there's shit that's just like way broken. Like disgustingly overpowered. I'm sure with the patches and the balance changes that they have planned, they'll fix a lot of that stuff, but just something I thought I would note. And then finally, my favorite, light great swords. Boy, is it so fucking stylish. I love it. the way your character... You know what? Let me grab one. Actually, wait. I might have to switch characters because I don't think I have one on this character. Did I already talk about the twin blades? Which twin blades? Or are you talking about like the non-twin blades, but like the throwing blades? Also, welcome back, Reedy. I'm talking about the light greatsword right now. I talked about pretty much everything else that I know of. Where is it? Here it is. These are so fucking cool. Any of them. You heard they exist and you were curious if they were good. Do you mean the twin blades? Like the throwing blades? Or do you mean like a twin blade? This is a twin blade. But then there's this, which is the throwing blade. Oh, these, yeah, twin blades are really good. They're very strong in the game. They've been in the game, though. They're in the base game. Very, very strong weapons. Almost entirely scales with dex, basically all of them. But you can mostly fix that with infusions and stuff. Apparently the hand-to-hand Ash of War has insane, not poise, the other term for being made difficult to get staggered. Like hyper armor. And does heavy poise damage. I mean, I noticed that when I was fighting Dane. Didn't even know, yeah. You can get them really early, too. You can get them as early as here. And, like, the first step. I think there's a twin blade, like, here in this ruins, right next to the start of the game. But, like greatswords, like, the moveset is so fucking flashy. And I'm just gonna gush about it for a minute. I love that, like, the weapon has this way of letting you transition into heavy attacks and back into light attacks seamlessly. It's just like, I have no words. It's just, it's beautiful. Like, you can just do infinite combos without ending, and it's like, your character always ends up in a position where you can kind of mix up your combo. It's just, I love this weapon. The light greatsword is definitely the coolest thing they've added for weapon classes. And it's flashy as hell. I will never be mad about a super stylish weapon. And it's just good. It's just good. I don't want to spend too long gushing over these weapons, but they're fantastic. And they added, I think, 3 of them. Yeah, the boss one. I don't particularly care for the power stance moveset. They're decent, but nothing crazy. But overall, fantastic weapons, fantastic DLC. I'm so fucking glad that it's finally here. I don't really have much else to say. I think that's about it. So, yeah. Let's go back to the tier list here. Is this how I really want to end it? With this? I feel like this is good enough. Now it's time to play Crab Solos? Definitely not. I'm gonna be grinding Elden Ring stuff. Like, what I'm gonna do, Mr. John, is I'm probably gonna whip this up into a video, upload this probably within a couple days. Maybe, I'll see. I still have to workshop a bunch of the script, if any, and all that good stuff. And then I'm gonna do the Mesmer guide. And then I'm already planning on, I think what I'm gonna do, my next playthrough of the DLC is gonna be the DLC, but using only DLC sorceries and incantations. Those are gonna be 2 different runs. So yeah, we'll have that to look forward to really soon. Hopefully, over the next like 7 days or so, I'll get both the Mesmer guide up and the this tier list video. So yeah. Elden Ring still have 1, no blessing, no maidens blindfolded. Absolutely not. I cannot. It would just take so much time. I could, but that just doesn't seem fun to me, honestly. Doing the soul level 1, no blessings. And it would take a ridiculous amount of time and resources for me to do that and then make it into a video. When I just want to experiment with all the new stuff they've added. I want to see all the new spells. I want to see the new Ashes of War. I'm still kind of workshopping ideas for that too. I think I want to do an Ash of War playthrough. That one might include the base game though, because I haven't actually done that yet. I haven't done a playthrough using just Ashes of War. Or, sorry, Spirit Ashes. But yeah, my voice is shredded right now. And I think that's a good place to call it for today's stream. We got all the stuff done for the tier list. I'm happy with this. I think this is totally fine. And yeah. Yeah, we got all the footage we needed. We're good to go. So I think that that's probably going to do it for today's stream. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Kind of feels weird ending it after only 3 hours, but I mean, I did what I needed to do. And I want to go do some other stuff today, and then I'll probably do some editing later tonight. Where would I place Elder Inquisitor? Where is he? Stupid bastard, where are you? No, wait. I don't know. Shit. That's not what I meant to do. This is... What's his name? Jory? This is Jory tier. This is where he would go. Jory would also be where Count Emir is. In all of these NPC fights, fuck these guys. Maybe not Red Bear. Red Bear wasn't that bad. Really, a lot of the other bosses were not great. The non-remembrance ones. I mean, they were just like regular enemies, but like boss form. Which is kind of lame. The Red Bear one though, the Great Red Bear was a good fight. I think I did that off stream. And Lamenter was kind of cool. It was a fun little gimmick fight. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you, friends, for watching. I appreciate it. Next stream again soon. Probably within a day or two. Or maybe longer. I haven't actually decided yet because I want to get the Mesmer guide sorted out. But yeah. Socials, join the Discord, all that good stuff. Every game needs a pinwheel, true. I'll see you guys in the future. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye. Bye bye.